Hey, everybody. We're back finally after 2 weeks of not being
What do you
here.
mean we? I've been here.
Oh, that's true. You have been here.
I've been keeping people entertained with
Thank
Resident
God for
Evil
you.
and Red Matter, and
Thank God for you. If it wasn't for
I do
you,
I do
life
want
would
to
just
go back and
be.
play some of those too because man, you know what? VR games kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
But you
I'm
have
still
been
waiting for someone to buy me a PSVR, but and now that,
hint
you know,
hint, wink wink. Oh, mm. Oh, cough. PSVR 2 for
hey,
Christmas.
speaking of presents and gifts and reasons why you might want to give them, big shout out to Holy Goalie. Yesterday was his happy birthday,
Yes.
Goalie.
Happy
Yesterday was his
birthday.
birthday. He had a birthday live stream. So I ended up going in there and wishing him a happy birthday, which was great.
Nice.
Um,
So
so
yeah,
I
you
am
have
back from Utah.
yeah, how was it? Are you champions? Are you winners?
No. Oh,
Oh,
oh no.
no, not the number 1 team in the league?
Oh God, no. No. I mean, I saw this was at this particular weekend because apparently it's like multiple weekends for many, many weekends, and it's like starts with like 8-year-olds and then 8, 9-year-olds,
There are
and then the next
8-year-old
weekend.
volleyball tournaments?
Oh yes,
Can
and
an
then 9,
8-year-old even
10-year-old.
can an 8-year-old even hit the ball over the net?
You would be surprised.
Oh, wow.
So by the time we went, it was 14, 15-year-olds, and I saw the top 15-year-old volleyball teams in the country. Um, okay, Texas apparently is where you go when you to live when you've got a 6-foot, 14-year-old daughter
Hmm.
who can jump 10 and a half feet in the air and spike a ball at terminal velocity. I saw girls that it's like, those are 15-year-olds? And they're like, no, those are 14-year-olds. I mean, they're insane. The top ones were just absolutely like they're 14 and they are already committed to colleges. They're not out of middle school and they're committed to colleges like Stanford and University of Texas.
Damn.
It's no joke, but Claire is nowhere near one of those. And
Like
they
like in retrospect, not in retrospect, but like thinking about it, maybe it's a good thing because like if that's you, like okay, my life is set. I'm 14, but I already know what I'm going to do for a career. I already know where
right,
I'm going to college. I already
right.
know all the
I'm
stuff, and
going to
that's
become a professional volleyball player, and my
and
whole life revolves around not getting
and
hurt.
that's got to be stressful.
And my whole life revolves around I'm that good. I got to move to Texas
Yeah.
because that's where all the best teams are, and you need to be on the best team in order to be seen by the recruiters. But anyway, I
Yeah.
digress. Claire's team did not have the best.
Okay, but like,
They
how'd they
had
do?
it
How'd
was
they do?
3 days. It was 3 days. And the first day they played awful. Oh my god, they played so bad.
Oh
Like even
no!
they knew. Like everybody was like, "What is going on?" The
Got to work
second
out the
day they
kinks.
played
That's
better.
all. Okay,
The
it's
third day
nerves.
they
It's
played
nerves.
they had moments of like absolute brilliance in the nut. It just wasn't their tournament. They just didn't do great. And they lost there's rankings and
Hmm.
rankings out of that trip.
Oh wait, you're kind of robot and cutting in and out.
Let me know if that changes.
Okay, you're coming in blurry, but audio good.
Okay, as long as the audio is good. They lost rankings for the trip.
Oh,
But the plus side is that that wasn't the only thing on the trip, and oh my god, we had such a good time going to
that's
the
good.
national
Outside
parks.
of everything else is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
We went to Zion. That was great. We went to Bryce. We just kind of drove around Bryce. It's like
Wait,
over the
robot,
edge.
robot.
I really my robot.
A little bit. Let's see. In the chat we have Ezio Helsing. Well, okay. AC Wraith was the first in the chat with all the typical links. Ezio Helsing was second with Malevelon Creek is under attack in Helldivers. Didn't we free that place? Can't they defend themselves now?
Why do you have to be all the saviors of the world?
Why are you always looking to us, Helldivers?
Always look to us for their national security. You need to
Ooh.
spend more on your national security.
Edie, I'm sorry. We're gonna send the Helldivers after you because you are clearly a Malevelon robot spy. Can you say something? Prove you're not a robot.
I can't.
Okay, AC Wraith also says that the tournament sounds like a sports anime.
Yeah.
So they won at getting to have a life.
Yes.
And yeah, Helsing talks about some news that we'll get into later. You're still kind of robot-y. Your video looks like a 90s CCTV footage of a crime. Like someone took that old CCTV footage and zoomed in really close. I need to say enhance, and then it will and clear everything up. Enhance. Shepherd, Jupiter, come enhance the video. You look like a supernatural predator. You have no face. Oh, is Edie Slender Man in disguise all this time? It's just been a trick. That's dedication to the cause. I mean, in terms of kidnapping kids, that's what Slender Man does. It's all coming full circle. But yeah, as you also mentioned, Oblivion remake. We'll get into that later with some news. I have some thoughts on that because there's already an Oblivion remake on the way. But that's for later. I guess. I don't know, in the meantime, how's everyone doing? You know what? I think I'm pretty sure I still have Helldivers 2 installed. I had to go on a bit of a deletion spree in order to make room for a bunch of other games on my PlayStation, but I don't think Helldivers was a consequence of that. I think Edie's restarting her modem, so you know it's bad. But I think Helldivers 2 avoided that. I deleted a whole bunch of other smaller indie games that I just kind of never got around to playing. You say Borderlands 4 might have base building? Interesting. Not my type of thing. I think they added that in Fallout 4, and I just kind of never really got into it beyond kind of the basics, but that is a popular feature. So that's probably, if they add, Borderlands 4 does have that, that's probably a net positive for the game overall. AC Wraith, I'm better, but still sick, waiting on my measly jury duty check. Oh yeah, how did jury duty work out? Are you still on it? Did you get kicked off? Are you on the jury? Can you say that? Yeah, how'd that work out? Meantime, I want to stream some more VR games. But the thing is, the best time to stream in the afternoon would be the podcast time. And whenever I play games on my own time, I always play them late at night. It's always like 10 o'clock to 2 a.m. If I were to play, if I were to stream something at that time, would anyone be interested in watching that? Or is that outside of everyone's usual watch period? Because I could just make a video and have that be a VOD, but it's always nicer to play with people live. But yeah, I gotta go back to Resident Evil, and I gotta go back to Red Matter. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific time. So, late at night, the witching hour, the when one day turns into the next, that crossing over period, that's generally when I play all of my games. AC Wraith on jury duty says they wasted time on the first day. I came back on the second with a mask after waking up with an earache and sore throat. They didn't choose me. Do you think you got the earache and sore throat from the first day? Like, was there a sick juror in the pool that kind of infected everybody? That would suck. Yeah, wasting time on the first day, though, is kind of, I think that's par for the course with any jury duty. It's like the first day is always spent just, I don't know. I don't know what they do. I'm not a lawyer, but they definitely don't get around to picking people. No, someone near me was sick. Okay, so you did get it from the other juror pool. Another juror. That sucks. You have to go in, and when you do, you get sick. People don't like jury duty already, but to now have to risk infection is that's annoying. Oh, not from the jury, from my family. Oh, someone near me, not like physically near you in the jury, but like familial near to you. Gotcha. Okay, so you were the juror in the pool that was sick. Well, glad you wore a mask. That's nice. Yeah. So let me know about the VR. Let me know in Discord. Other than that, geez, maybe I should just get into what we've been playing since Edie's taken so long to get here. Oh, speak of the devil.
Am I back?
You are. I was just about to start loading up a video to talk about what I've been playing.
Okay, good. Yeah, I the internet here is, I think this is going to be the last time that I stream from here. I cannot
Okay.
trust the internet here.
You're still a little. Your screen is frozen.
Great.
Why is it so bad? I thought this got
I
fixed.
don't know. All right,
How is it possible that he can work remotely
I don't know.
on an internet that can't even stream a video?
I don't know. And it's
The robot is
frustrating as
trying to
hell.
attack me.
Am I still robot?
No, you sound good now.
Okay, good. I don't know. I cannot answer this, but this is now solidified in my mind. I am no longer podcasting from his house because it was bad, then it got better, and now it's horrible again. And he's working from home. He's doing like video interviews from home, and it's like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
You sound really good. So maybe
good.
it's just the video.
I have, in case you're wondering, I have turned off the video. Let's actually, before you go in, let's actually start the show with some music, okay? Because I do use this now as part of the podcast. All right.
Okay.
All right. By the way, something that is going to shock and alarm every single person in the chat room. Are you ready?
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology, and these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now.
No.
Oh, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds.
that?
GameHounds episode 778. We are recording this on Sunday, April 20th, dude. 420, dude. Easter Sunday and Passover. The perfect storm of holidays.
Oh, you're right.
So, I decided after nearly 15 years that it was time for a new voice. That the technology had moved on along enough so that it was worth it to actually change the intro voice. And you're all gonna hate it, but I like the old man telling you to. I've specifically picked an old man who
Okay,
sounds
okay,
like his grandpa.
okay. I wasn't sure if like I thought is that like off-brand Morgan Freeman? I don't know who that is. That supposed to be? Did she do like an AI deep fake of Morgan Freeman's voice, but like a really poor version of it?
Oh, that Morgan Freeman? Oh God, no. For Morgan Freeman sounds way better than that guy. No,
That's
that's
what I
his
said. It's
grandpa.
like
That's grandpa.
budget. It's budget Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, it's grandpa. It's budget grandpa is who it is. So yeah, we got budget grandpa.
As he says,
Why
why
did I
didn't you
pick
pick Bender
Bender?
instead? Bender from Futurama?
If
Joe
because that
Joe
might get me
DiMaggio?
sued. Small thing, but it might get me sued if I actually used a copyrighted voice. I try not to use the voice of professional actors without their permission if I can possibly help it.
Okay, you gotta find Morgan Freeman, send him an email, and say, "Hey, can I use your voice for all podcast intros?"
Well, I do have that recording of Jeff Gerstmann saying that, when I'm not getting fired from
yeah.
GameStop or GameSpot, I'm listening to GameHounds.
And actually not a deep fake.
No, not a deep fake. I recorded that.
AC Rate says Edie, the Tesla driver, has succumbed to AI assets. NFTs soon to come.
Yeah, I'm launching my own crypto. You'll be glad to know. It's called Robo Edie Crypto.
I was gonna say
Robo Coin.
Hound Coin.
Yeah, Hound Coin. Now I'm sure there's already Hound Coin out there somewhere. But yeah, I decided that it was, time to just freshen it up a bit, maybe. And if you have any suggestions for voices that are not copyrighted or stolen from someone without their permission, happy to do it.
I just want each week to have a different generated voice now.
Oh man, that's hard. It means I have to do a new intro every single week.
But it's just the voice. Just
Speaking of which, let me say this now. I know that we were dark for 2 weeks. I appreciate that you have all waited with bated breath for a new episode. Next week we're dark.
Wait, really?
I have another tournament that the last tournament of the year that I have been invited to. Now,
well, you know what? I was just talking to the chat about playing more VR games. I guess I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well,
week.
maybe. I mean, I'm in Reno and I have my own room in my own hotel because it was decided this morning that that they'd already gotten a hotel room a long time ago, and it just wouldn't be right of all of us sleeping in the same room, just a little on the weird side. So I got my own room at a completely different hotel down the street. So I am going.
That's it. You couldn't just get like next door.
I mean, that's the closest hotel. He's going to be at the Atlantis. I'm going to be at the Peppermill. Honestly, I love the Peppermill. The Peppermill loves me. I've been going there for 20 years, more than 20 years. Since 1999, I was going there every single year, multiple times a year. So Peppermill and I know each other intimately.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm super okay with this because if I'm in my own hotel room, that means I can leave them at the end of the night, go to the bar in my own hotel and play video poker until 3:00 in the morning without anybody fucking judging me.
Wait, where's this?
Reno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my free booze. I'm gonna get my video poker. I'm gonna play some cards because god damn it, I like to gamble. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm going to do it without judgment, and they can be sleeping away soundly. That being said, if there's good enough internet, and to be quite honest, the internet there can't be any worse than the internet here.
Yeah.
If the hotel internet will permit, I will try to do a show, but I won't know how bad the internet is until Friday night. So we'll see. if it's even possible for me to do it. But if I can, I can. But if I can't, I won't. And we'll make that announcement on the Discord. So please join our Discord if you haven't already. The links to join our Discord easily found on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, in our description. I believe it's also on the website, gamehounds.net, which I did sort of update recently. And if you're watching on the stream, it's right at the bottom of the stream right now. So you, if you really wanted to, if you couldn't find it anywhere else, if you're listening to this as a podcast, you could go to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, look at this episode, go to 21 minutes and 10 seconds, and you will see the Discord link that will get you into our Discord channel. Also, you could do a search on GameHounds Discord. You will know it because you'll see our logo. So that's where I will make sure that everyone knows for sure. And I should know that by Friday night.
Okay.
Assuming I'm still sober. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening. And but that is the last thing of the year, the last tournament of the year. And that's fine. That's cool. I'm good. I don't need to see any more of this. But Claire's team did not do well, but we had a great time. By the way, do not tell anyone else. But I have found the most amazing national park that nobody's going to. So 25 years ago, more than 20, like 30 years ago, I went to Zion, and back then nobody was going to Zion. Now it's like the place is just inundated. It's an absolute tourist trap, which is fine. It's gorgeous still, but it's just tourists, shoulder to shoulder tourists, even before, the beginning of April, mid-April, it's shoulder to shoulder tourists. Bryce Canyon, same thing, shoulder to shoulder tourists. There's this little known, and I believe it is the newest national park called Capitol Reef National Park. It is the way Bryce and Zion used to be 30 years ago. Nobody there, not really much of a visitor center at all. You can literally go down there. I walked into this canyon that was a canyon that was being used to traverse this 100-mile long impassable geologic feature, that this was the only way you could get through. And it had been used as the only way to get through from back when there was just Native Americans to it was finally cleared in 1921 to allow car traffic. So this is how cars bypass this massive geologic kind of fold in the earth that you couldn't get past before they actually built freeways around everything. So you go down it and you're literally walking down this canyon, and there are Hopi petroglyphs carved into the side of it. People that have been traversing that road for millennia have been carving their names or carving things into the sandstone of this canyon. And I literally walked up and was able to touch a Hopi petroglyph. I was literally able to walk down the road just a little while longer and see somebody that wrote their name, like Jebediah Smith, 1898. He was in a covered wagon going through, and he wrote a little graffiti. 1921, the guys that actually cleared the road, right there. And I was able to walk up and touch this shit. That will not last because, of course, people are going to start writing their own names on it.
Oh, yeah.
And you could see some evidence of that starting to happen. So if you are in Utah and you want to see something that in 5 or 10 years, when the Instagrammers discover it, and when it gets essentially before it gets all fucked up, go do that now, because in anywhere between 5 to 15 years from now, it'll be like Zion, completely inundated with tourists. And all that stuff is going to be roped off, and you're not going to be able to travel down it without like having a guided tour and a ranger taking you down there and not allowing you to get near stuff and putting stuff behind plexiglass and maybe even lining the whole canyon with plexiglass so people can't write their names on it, that kind of stuff. Capitol Reef National Park in Utah, in a place called Torrey, Utah, Torrey. Go while you can, because it ain't going to stay like that. In fact, let me see if I can pull up some video of it. I'm hoping that there's some video. I'm hoping there's no video of it.
Okay. So in the chat, AC Wraith has said, and I got that. Edie would rather watch miners smack balls around than hang with us.
That is sort of
We may need to look at our hard drive.
Sort of not true. Yeah, I did enjoy that, and it was a little awkward because, of course, I was surrounded by some of the members of the moms group. So they were like, "And you are?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just a friend of the family. I've been taking care of Chris's
really?
dad."
Still doing the friend of the family bullshit? No.
To maintain the friend of the family bullshit. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's still happening. But we're just rolling with it, dude. We're just rolling with it until we can't roll with it anymore. Yeah.
Ezio asked if I have played Broken Pieces, the video game, which I have not. I've not heard of this.
What is Broken Pieces?
I just Googled it, and apparently it's like a mystery game.
Yeah.
Which seems really up my alley.
Yeah, this is Capitol Reef. It's insane.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember seeing a trailer about this.
Yeah. Yeah, they're never going to let you do this. They're not going to let you do this for very much longer. They're just not. Yeah, it's insane.
I will check that game out though, Ezio.
Right up into stuff, and you can just drive it, and you don't even have to hike all this stuff. You can just drive it. Yeah, it was awe-inspiring.
You scarred that girl's mind last episode, but you can't tell full-grown adults about a relationship.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put my camera on very shortly, just because I know it's gonna screw up the internet, but you will see my face. That's the face.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna roll with it. Gonna roll with it as long as we possibly can. And then see what happens. Taking it day by day.
Well, other than the political relationship game, were you able to play anything?
Yes, I was. On the plane. I downloaded a bunch of games, and I ended up just playing just a couple of them, but they weren't very they aren't new. In fact, one of them I had on my phone that you made me put on my phone, and it was I liked it then, but it was, I played it a little bit. I played it a lot more now, and I like it even more. Like I said, it's an older game. And the first one is called, you will be very proud of yourself, Sticky Terms.
Oh, I remember Sticky Terms.
Sticky Terms is so much freaking fun. It really, really is. Essentially, you are given like a puzzle of like words that are foreign words that mean things, and actually some of the words are really great. They're words that in many different languages, but you essentially have to figure out how these different lines fit together to make the words, and you'll be right when it starts to stick together. And sometimes you're just kind of going along trying to figure out rotating these different lines that are kind of all together until they actually fit together in the right way. And it is a lot of fun. And moreover, that the words you sometimes get out when they explain what the words are really make you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And because each of the levels are words that have to do with something, like colors. And they're never just like the colors on orange or blue. It's like the color of someone's face when they're embarrassed in Icelandic or something like that. Amounts would be like the amount in like Nigerian would be like the amount of water you can hold in the palm of your hand. There's actually a word for it. So I'm just making this stuff up. I don't know for certain, but
Yeah,
it
but like
is
super specific
okay. Switch it, and it's
cultural.
a tingo. There you go. Borrowing everything one by one until nothing is left, and that's a word from Easter Island. Tingo means that. So you're just seeing these like essentially bits and pieces of words together, and some of them are just lines, and you have to kind of figure out how they all fit together to make this phrase. And it is surprisingly entertaining because you spend a lot of time just kind of rotating stuff and like, is this an N? Is this an I? Is this a T? How do I make these things fit together? So obviously the S is no, it's not that way. Oh yeah, no, there we go. There. All right, sorry. Yeah, I'm watching and I'm like, no, that's not right. That's wrong. So it's a great game. It's a very good way to kill time in little short batches. Each level is only like 9 or 10 words. So you can usually clear one out in maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I played this. I basically played through the whole game.
Yeah, I haven't played through the entire game. It's A's, dude. Just switch it. There you go. They're all A's. There you are.
It's like, come on, use some common sense.
Come on, there's the S. You'd see it, and that's a P. So
That
you
looks like a
know that
K.
that's it, right? There you go. There you go. Get that S over there. No. Yes. There you go. Oh, it's an R, not a P. So anyway, that is Sticky Terms, and I believe it was just a couple of bucks. Well worth it.
Yeah, it's as expensive as an iOS game gets, which is like max $5.
Yeah,
for
and
most of them.
were well worth $5. And more importantly is that every time that you want to go to the next level, you have to kind of see these little videos of the developer of this game and the other stuff that he's done, and they're just as weird.
Oh,
This
interesting.
guy
I haven't seen his other stuff.
Oh yeah, now all of it is like the advertisement for his next game, and it's all weird shit. And you're like, "Is this a game?" And every single ad is one of his other games. So, yeah, Sticky Terms. The other one I played, also another very old game, that's been around since forever, but also it's a little bit of a longer play in that you have to be it's not a little short sharp shock to play. You have to be really, really engaged with it for a long trip. And that is Head of State, which is a political game.
I don't know that one.
Really? It's not coming up? Head of State iPhone. It's not pulling it up. It's pulling out Fallout 3. Why is it not pulling up Head of State, the game? No. Head of State.
Head of State iOS game.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yeah, it's there, right?
12 plus. Yeah, I'm on the website.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's-
seeing no Head of State on the iPhone. There we go. All right. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that this is actually shows gameplay of it. Yeah, it does. All right, good. So, Head of State is essentially a political game where you play the head of the state. You actually start out playing the opposition to the existing ruling party, and you go around to the different areas of your country. Each area has its own wants and needs, and you essentially collect influence by enacting policies or supporting policies that each of those areas wants. Some of them are very liberal. Some of them are very conservative. It reminds you a little bit of Plague Inc.
I was just going to say, looking at this and seeing the map with time passing, and like every couple seconds, an icon appears, and you have to click that icon to get a resource that you can then spend to evolve your platform/plague. That's it. It's Plague Inc., but has politics,
As
which
politics.
is kind of
terrifying. So every once in a while you will have elections, and then you will run for the elections, and your party will gain a certain amount of seats on the election. Eventually you will win and become the ruling party, and when you do, then you have to fend off other people and other parties from you. So it becomes essentially, get to the top of the hill and then defend your top of the hill and doing things that are doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. Like, as a good person, you really shouldn't, enact countrywide surveillance of your populace and jailing people that are part of the opposing party. But sometimes you just got to be pragmatic, and if you want to win, that's what you got to do. It's very, very hard to be good in games like this. So I played a little bit of this, not a lot, but I played way more Sticky Terms. That was just a great game to just unwind with before the end of the night. Whereas this thing, you don't unwind. You are working hard because it's Plague Inc., but elections. So yeah, it's a really good game, and given what was going on in our country right now, it just seemed appropriate to be playing Head of State.
You're just like, I could do a better job. Let me see if I can.
Let me see if I can do that. Anyway, so yeah, that's the two games that I played really. And there were some other games that on Chris's phone that I don't know the name of that were absolutely fucking amazing, but I'll get those for next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He was showing me a bunch of games that he's got, and it's like, oh my God, this is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always need good iOS games. I keep downloading them in batches and then not playing a bunch, and then deleting them in batches and then downloading new batches.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I downloaded a ton of games and then ended up not playing them. What did I download? I downloaded Kingdom Rush.
Oh yeah, Ezio says, don't you mean the following week because there's no show next week?
Yeah,
maybe we'll see.
Maybe
we'll learn on Friday.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I downloaded Polytopia. I downloaded. There was a couple of other ones. Kingdom Rush. I mentioned. There were a bunch of ones that I downloaded that I'm not seeing for some reason. But yeah, ended up not playing them. Slice and Dice is another one that I downloaded that I didn't play. So yeah, it's the same kind of situation where you just download a bunch and then you only play a couple.
Yeah.
So that was me. What did you play?
Okay, so we are going to play a game right now.
We are.
This is one of the reasons I have not played all of the iOS games is because Kind of Funny Games briefly mentioned this game on one of their streams, and it took me like 20 minutes to successfully Google it because they said Cinetoo Nerdle. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? Cinetoo Nerdle? What is this? What it is CINE number 2 Nerdle, NERDLE. Let me put that up there. Cinetoo Nerdle. And this is basically connections. What is it? Before presenting a screen, remove other media streams from the stage. Oh, I gotta remove yours.
Oh, there we go. I was pulling it up for you. All right.
So it's basically the New York Times connections, but with movies.
Okay.
And so let's see. Can I zoom in
I can
on
see it.
this. How's that? Okay.
Okay.
So we've got Train to Busan, Lightyear, Fantastic Four, The Handmaiden, Glass Onion, Get Shorty, Clue, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oh,
All
man.
these movies, and you'll have to organize them into 5 themes. Those themes could be they share a cast, they share like an actor, they share a thematic connection, they share like a country of origin. Maybe it's just they have numbers in the title. Already, I'm looking at this going, okay, Train to
Sa-
Busan and The Handmaiden are both Korean movies.
Right. Saturday Night Fever in Greece, and I believe Get Shorty, wasn't John Travolta in Get Shorty?
Oh yeah, okay. So Saturday Night Fever, Get Shorty. Okay, and see when you have 3 of one, they
Uh-huh.
they light up like this in orange, which is nice. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you said Grease, Get Shorty,
Saturday
Saturday Night
Night Fever.
Fever, and what was the 4th one? We need a
Oh,
4th
there's a
one.
4th one?
Yeah. Okay, see here. Parasite,
So
Old
Parasite
Boy,
is Korean,
The
right?
Handmaiden, and Train to Busan.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
good.
We figured out one theme.
Oh, okay. So it knows what the themes are.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Clue.
Fantastic Four, Scott Pilgrim, there's both comics.
Okay. Oh, Snowpiercer was based on a comic.
Okay, there we go. Let's put those 3 together.
Oh, yeah. Is that? Oh, Chris Evans.
There and Fantastic Four, Lightyear, Scott Pilgrim, and Snowpiercer. Oh,
Yeah.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is in all those.
Ah, okay.
Oh, Clue, Murder on the Orient Express, Glass Onion, and
Those are
Bodies.
right.
Murder Mysteries.
Murder mysteries.
And then that tells us you're right, John Travolta. But
Yep.
here's where it gets cool. There's a 5th movie, and there will always be 4 movies that create rows or columns, however you organize it. And there
Uh-huh.
will always be a 5th movie going the opposite direction. So they're looking at this puzzle. There is some movie going vertically that will match all of these clues.
Oh,
So
okay.
and I think I have an idea of what it is, because Murder on the Orient Express is a train. Taking of Pelham 123 takes place on a train. Train to Busan is a train,
and Snowpiercer.
and
is a train.
Snowpiercer is on a train.
Ah, good. Okay.
And it's this. I will just sit and do these puzzles over and over, because some of them I get finished in 30 seconds. Others, it's like, oh man, I don't know.
Is there a way to get a hint?
There isn't really a hint. If
Mm.
you lose, well, this says like 6 swaps left. You can replay it.
Got it.
So there are some that I just don't know, and I'll just, blah, 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 like just use up all my swipes and then look at the answer.
Right. Okay. Got it.
But what's neat is that was the reversal. And the way the reversal works is it gives you a bunch of movie titles,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to choose the theme from there. The original version gives you a bunch of actors or actresses, and then you have to pick it from there. Sometimes there's other things like artificial intelligence, Bird. Emma Stone and Easy, that's probably Easy A. And so then you'll look and go, okay, what else fits in there? I don't know. So there's slightly different versions of each puzzle. This version is a cool one where you have actors, Uma Thurman, Edward Norton, Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, that worked. And Oscar Isaac. And then you just have a bunch of, is a murderer, is penniless, is a musician, overdoses, orders a milkshake. And you'll have to think, okay, which actor in a movie did those things?
Okay, Uma Thurman ordered a milkshake.
Okay, yeah, Uma Thurman orders a milkshake. Those are in the same column.
Okay. Has an iconic dance scene and overdoses.
Yep, Pulp Fiction.
Yep. Is in the business of letter writing, has a relationship with artificial intelligence and Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is, I don't know. Is a billionaire, is penniless, hosts a dinner party. I don't know. Which one do you think it is? I don't.
Oh,
I can't
I know this one.
Oh,
So Edward Norton hosts a
Is
dinner
a-
party,
Oh, okay.
is a murderer, and spoilers for Glass Onion.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Glass Onion. I did see that. Is okay. Yes.
And then that's Her,
Uh-huh.
the movie where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with his phone.
Right.
And then this one is Inside Llewyn Davis, which was a Coen Brothers kind of indie movie.
Got it.
But
Okay.
now there's a
Now we have
fifth.
a fifth.
And AC Wraith asked like fifth movie or fifth
Okay,
theme.
so it's got to be a person. Is a musician, is a billionaire, is getting divorced and overdoses. Is that possibly
So you know that like one of the actors will be in that row for the fifth movie.
one of these actors.
Yeah, one of these actors. All of these, so 3 of these will apply to one of the actors. So like Uma Thurman, has she ever been in a movie where she's getting divorced? Has a relationship with AI? Is in the business of letter writing? I don't think so.
I think Joaquin Phoenix is penniless, hosted at a party, and has an iconic dance scene because I can't think of any other person, any other movie that has a relationship with artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
What?
I think I know this one.
Okay.
Oscar Isaac is a billionaire. He makes an AI.
And he overdoses or orders a milkshake or has an iconic dance scene. There it
Ex
is.
Machina.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I've just been burning through these puzzles, and
this is made for you.
Oh, it absolutely
Chris
is.
would love this.
Okay, I texted you, and
You
I wanted
told
to
me
know
about it. Right.
how he played it.
He didn't play it.
There are so many puzzles. There are 900 puzzles
my
of
God.
the original version. There are 700. No, wait. Let's see. Okay, yeah, puzzle number 729 of the reversal. And then, if you want to get real crazy,
Wow.
there's
Okay.
logic puzzles,
Okay.
which are basically here. Look, Star Wars characters.
All
You
right.
get a whole bunch of Star Wars characters, and it's like the logic puzzle. Characters in each row are organized by the release date of the film they first appear in, earliest to most recent. Characters in the same row were introduced in different films.
Okay.
Grandchildren appear in the same row as their grandfathers.
Oh my God. Oh,
So
my
that's
brain
like
just brain
okay.
just
That means
froze
okay.
up.
Grandchildren in the that means you probably want Luke and Leia and Vader in the same row, right?
Right. But isn't it like where they appear? Yes, you see Leia before you see Luke.
Okay. Yeah, a princess,
And then
a
you see
queen.
Vader before you see Luke.
Okay, and here, rule number 5: a princess, a queen, a bounty hunter, and a supreme leader are in row 1.
Okay, so that's going to be
Probably want Leia,
and then you want Darth.
Padme. It could be no supreme leader. Could be Snoke. A bounty hunter, yeah, Boba Fett, Snoke. But then
No, what was
supreme
it?
leader could also be Palpatine.
Queen, a princess, a queen.
Yeah, a princess, a queen,
I don't know that
a bounty hunter, and a supreme leader.
supreme leader would be no, that would be Count Dooku.
No,
No,
Dooku wasn't
Palpatine.
the supreme
Palpatine
leader.
is a supreme leader.
Okay.
No?
Well, okay, here's the thing. We have infinite switches for this puzzle.
Right.
But you can check the logic, and that will show us, okay, we have one right.
Okay.
But okay, this is another version of the puzzles, and you could spend a long
But you have
time.
to do those in order of when they were seen. So Boba Fett would be before.
Oh yeah, characters in each row are organized left to right by the release date of the film they first appear in.
Okay.
Characters in the same row were introduced in different films. Only consider the original release versions of each film.
Okay.
So okay, that's why Boba Fett
It's going to be
appeared before
Padme.
and
Palpatine is going to be.
Would Palpatine be before Boba Fett?
I think Palpatine is before Boba Fett.
I don't think he is. Oh, let me close the door.
Anyway, we're getting deep in the weeds here. I
Exactly.
can
Okay.
see
Okay.
this absolutely being a group game that we could all play together. Maybe
Oh yeah.
one night on
Okay.
Discord.
We just have to check this. We just have to check the first row.
Okay,
Oh.
maybe switch
Oh wait.
Padme and Palpatine.
I think Snoke wants to be up there, not Palpatine.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay, we got those
Nope,
and
yeah.
Snoke.
There you go. You got
All
it.
right. All right. And now we have the whole puzzle left. But so yeah, I've been playing a ton of Cine 2 Nerdle. It is absolutely fantastic. I love it. Some of the puzzles are better than others, but it's a daily puzzle. And so
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, you can just lose hours.
I could absolutely see that. So yeah, that's definitely a game I want to play. Here's the link for it, and here is the link for Head of State, and here is the link for Sticky Terms. Yeah, I'm totally downloading that. Fifth movie or
You-
fifth theme?
Yeah, that was for how it works. And
Got it.
okay, here's the thing though. It's not an app. It's a web page.
Oh,
So you have to like open a browser and go to Cine 2 Nerdle, CINE number 2 NERDLE,
okay.
and then you'll find it. I wish it was an app. That would probably be easier to navigate.
Yeah, also you could probably do it offline.
Yeah, true.
You wouldn't be able to do it on the plane unless you had, like paid up for the
Yes.
thing. Okay, so talk about your next game while I go to the bathroom because I have been drinking too much water lately.
Okay.
We're drinking LaCroix Pamplemousse.
Oh, right. That's right. I've got a whole bunch of the sodas here too. We gotta choose.
Oh, okay, we'll do that as soon as I come back. We'll vote on that. But
Yeah.
first,
In the
I have
meantime,
to make some room.
I will talk about the first Berserker Kazan. Let me share my other screen. Let me make sure this is all good. Okay, yes, hang on. I don't usually do the sharing. Okay. Okay, that's a little dog. That's a little dog. Come on. Let's Okay. So the first Berserker Kazan is a Souls-like game, just straight up. This is one that I'd seen some streamers play and they really liked it. Andrew had recommended it to me to play the demo. And I think when I first saw the game, I was kind of turned off by the art style because there was something about it that seemed a little, I mean, it is cartoony, but I mean that in kind of like a derogatory way. What I didn't expect, and what's cool is there's a demo available. And so I just downloaded the demo, played it, ended up falling in love with it, and bought the game like right then and there to download the rest of it. And what's really cool about this game is it is a Souls-like, but it's actually more of a Sekiro-like because there is such an emphasis on not so much parrying, but blocking. So there are various means of blocking in this game. If you just hold down the block button and a character hits you, you will block that move. And what that means is your stamina gets damaged instead of your health. If you press the block button as the enemy hits you, you do something called a guard block, which is like a special block where you don't take any damage, health or stamina. And if you can, there is a parry move, but the timing of it is just really, really weird. And honestly, it's confusing. But the point is, if you hit the block button as they hit you, you do that special guard block where you don't take any stamina damage or health damage. That means the way that battles progress, especially boss fights, is you learning the rhythm of the enemy's attack. Boom, 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 boom. And you like timing your blocks in that pattern in order to do damage as you're blocking. So there are multiple weapon sets, 3 weapon sets, really. Although, before I get into the weapons, I got to say, this cutscene was one of the cutscenes that made me go, okay, this game is kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because like watching this dragon transform is just it's gnarly as fuck. And then by the end of it, it's like, oh shit, I've got to fight this guy. How is this going to be possible? But like any good Souls-like game, you get in there, you learn the patterns, and eventually you own the bosses. But there are 3 weapon sets: dual wielding weapons, a spear, and a heavy greatsword. I've really only focused on the dual wielding and the spear. But what's neat about those is they play very differently, because when I have the dual wield set up, if I perform a successful guard block, that will damage the enemy's health. And so with dual wielding, it's very much designed to like you want to keep track of the blocks, and every time you block, you do the successful guard block, it hurts the enemy. So that kind of encourages you to not dodge. Like you're going to take the hit, but you're going to block it.
Mhm.
The spear, on the other hand, when you do a successful guard block, you do stamina damage. And the spear in general is you can outfit it in different ways through the skill tree to emphasize stamina damage. So when you attack, it does less health damage, but more stamina damage. What that means is, and you'll probably see it coming up soon, the enemy has a red health bar on top and a blue stamina bar on the bottom. Right now, they just got exhausted. The stamina bar ran out, and that allows you to wail on them and do a super attack. So between the spear and the dual wield is kind of designed to be like a damage over time weapon, because every time you do a guard block, you damage their health. And so kind of slowly over time, as you attack them and as you block, you're going to whittle their health down. The spear, on the other hand, is designed to get them into that exhausted state where you can do more heavy attacks on them. And so it's really interesting seeing the really small but significant technical ways that these 2 weapons are different. And that just feels really good. It feels really good to get used to them and to kind of expand the repertoire of moves that each weapon has. But this is a Souls-like. It's a Sekiro-like. And right away, the first second I played it, I knew, oh, this game feels good.
I love that feeling.
It has that snappiness to the combat where everything is just super responsive, but at the same time, it has that slowness of a Souls-like game. If I get into a combo, I can't interrupt that combo with a block, and so I have to be careful and purposeful with my attacks. But the camera, the way it moves is really snappy. The attacks feel good. The sound design is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because especially with dual wielding, that particular weapon set is designed to have you, or at least you can outfit it to switch between weak and heavy attacks. So you'll do a swift attack, and then in the middle of that, you'll switch to a heavy attack, and then switch back to swift attack. And you can set up your skill tree so that you can switch between those 2 over and over and over and over again. The swift and the heavy attack both have different sounds to them. And so that it's just a really good intuitive way of letting the player get some feedback, because just swinging the axe visually, the difference between a swift attack and a heavy attack is not that difference. He's swinging the axe no matter what, but it's the sound design that tells you where in the combo you are. And that's just really, really nice. And it's not something that I think I've picked up on in other games. But yeah, the story is kind of a basic revenge story. Kazan was betrayed by his country, and he's out for revenge. And this blade phantom demon takes possession of his body to help him do that. And that's the gist of it. But it's an interesting world. Like I said, the combat just feels so good. It's structured in missions. So instead of an open world like Dark Souls, you kind of have much more deliberate missions where you're dropped into an area. It's pretty linear. You're not likely to get lost in this game, which is good because the appeal of this game is that slow fight for every inch progression through a level. Uh, each level has a boss at the end that's really cool. There were so many different stats to level up. It's a little excessive. It's like you have your basic stats, leveling up stats. Then you have stats that are augmented by armor. Then you have stats that are changed if you like find these collectibles, you can use those to upgrade some stats. But then if you just complete a mission, that gives you some other currency to upgrade some stats. And those stats are hidden behind like 5 layers of menus. And it's like, okay, why did you put this here? A little confusing. But like, as all these games go, leveling up all those stats will give you a little bit of an advantage. But if you're just good at blocking, you don't need any of it. So yeah, okay, come on, let's get some action. Stop talking to that dude. There you go. Yeah, it just feels so good to play. The world is interesting. The combat's great.
The combat looks amazing. It looks so fluid. And
And that's the thing.
This is not you playing. This is somebody else playing. But still, it looks so fluid.
It's very fluid. It's very snappy. I want to compare this to Black Myth Wukong, and I don't know exactly what it is, but the level of difficulty and challenge that it possesses, it's not. I keep one of the reasons that I was hesitant to pick this up is because I had heard from some reviews that it's a brutally difficult game. I haven't actually found it to be that brutally difficult. In terms of general Souls likes, it's not easy, but it might be on the easier side. It in the way that Black Myth Wukong was, where that's not an easy game, but that the difficulty level that game and this game possess are like perfect for me personally, where there's something about the pace that enemies attack you in this game in Kazan that makes learning the patterns of the boss relatively easy. They have 3-hit combos and 4-hit combos, and so after playing the fights a couple of times, because the fights are difficult, and I've died a whole lot on these bosses. But even though I've died a bunch on the bosses, because their attacks are so repeatable and so predictable, I know that, okay, if I just played a little bit more, I can internalize the timing of these blocks. And by the time, I get to the point where I defeat them, I can go through a fight and block 90% of their attacks because I've just got that memorization and the pattern down. And that feels really, really good. It feels good when you can execute on all that, but it also feels good to learn it. It doesn't, when I fight a boss and I lose, it doesn't necessarily feel unfair. I just feel like, that one move got me again. I need to get better at the timing. And I don't know exactly what the difference is between this and something like Elden Ring, or Sekiro for that matter. Like Sekiro was brutally difficult, I think. And this game, well, it shares a lot of the kind of DNA of that game. Like I said, I just found the difficulty level to be perfect for me. It the right level of challenge, the right level of memorization, in the way that Wukong was. And I cannot, for the life of me, put my finger on exactly what that is, but it feels really fucking good.
I could never play this game. This is so not my kind of game, but it is absolutely the kind of game that I would love to watch you play.
You could totally watch me play it. I've gone through about a mission a night. AC Wraith says, I thought I was the one who kept recommending it in Discord. Chaos isn't even here and you're confusing us. You were also recommending it to me. You were the first one, and I looked at it online and I thought, I don't know, the anime style games don't usually feel that good. I looked at it and I thought Genshin Impact. And I was like, look, Genshin Impact is a fine game, but it's not like an action game. It is an action game, but it doesn't have that feel.
Yeah.
Uh,
By the way, every time I mention that I might be playing Genshin Impact, the girl child loses her mind. So one of these days I'm gonna have to do that.
yeah, yep. I mean, it's free, so there's no
no reason not to. It's just otherwise I just don't want to get involved with a Genshin Impact. I just don't want to get involved with this. It's just
That's fair.
Too much. My life is complicated enough. I do not need to complicate it with another, like game that is going to be sucking my time and money.
Yeah, you gotta pay all the money to open those boxes and hopefully get a tier 5 character.
Yep. And I don't want to do that. It's more than I want to be involved in right now.
I will say,
commitment.
What little I played of Genshin Impact back when it came out, you can easily play through that whole game and not get into the whole loot box stuff. You're just given a set of characters from the beginning. They are perfectly fine to go through the game with. Like, you don't need to drop all that extra money on getting these other tier 5 characters and all that. It's in there, but it's not necessary. Corey Wallace also says that he just 100% completed Assassin's Creed Shadows.
And your thoughts? By the way, I hear Assassin's Creed Shadows, what was it? It was the second most sold game so far this year.
I've heard that it's been doing really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think 100% completing it tells us his thoughts on it.
Yeah, good point. For all the haters that said it was going to suck because it had a black man and a woman in it, there you go.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft really did need this to be good.
They did.
Really needed this to be good. I'm kind of sorry it was good. I mean, it was a win-win either way. Either we're going to get a really good Assassin's Creed game or Ubisoft was going to go out of business. Win-win.
Yeah. I still have it. I bought it when it pre-ordered it when it came out, and I need to just go back to it. Well, I haven't even started it. Anyways, I've been playing other games, and the other game I have been playing is thankfully on Game Pass, so anyone can play it. It's called Atomfall, and this, I think, when we showed it off, let me present, share screen. When we first saw this, a couple.
I got it. No, okay, you got it.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Like a couple months ago or something. I thought, oh, that looked really interesting. It almost looked like Fallout, but in Britain, like a very British Fallout.
Right.
That's actually not what it is at all.
Really?
It's more like Far Cry 2. And I say that because there's a really big element of scavenging to it. So you'll go wandering around, and the kind of what its big hook has a game is that it doesn't give you any objective markers. It doesn't give you side quests. Like, it does, but it doesn't. They're just not as direct. It's not as hand-holding.
Okay.
So you might find a piece of paper on the ground that says, oh, I was running from the cops and I've holed it up in this warehouse in the rail yard. And it will give you longitude and latitude for the rail yard. And so okay, I'm going to go explore the rail yard. There is a map, and it will mark on the map where the rail yard is. But there's no in-universe guide posting there. But then once you get to the rail yard, there's also nothing that points you to exactly where in the rail yard you're supposed to look for.
Oh, so it really truly is like an exploration game in the pure sense of the word, in that you have to explore.
You have to look around.
What you're looking
and
for.
In fact, in that specific example, the thing I was looking for in the rail yard, I kept looking like on the ground. Is there something buried? But what it actually was a note in a building that said, hey, I used to be here, but then I left. I stashed some stuff here. So one note led me to the rail yard, where another note led me to the actual stash. But you have to find that note.
Got it.
And so that's the way a lot of the quests work, where you really have to focus on, you got to look around. It's a lot of scavenging, so there's a lot of crafting. Like you want to craft health, you want to craft bullets. What's neat though, in this instance, since the main guy is the protagonist, the player of the video we're watching, since he's already trespassing in these outlaws' territory, they are immediately violent. But if you just meet an outlaw gang roaming around, they won't immediately attack you. They'll warn you off. They'll be like, hey, you better keep your distance, stay away. If you have a gun and you put the gun away, then they will get less violent towards you. So that allows you to kind of pick and choose your battles. If you want to fight this outlaw group, then you can let them pass and then attack them from behind. Or if you don't want to attack them because you're not really equipped for a fight, just let them pass, let them by. You don't need to kill everyone you see. And that leads to a lot of fun, tense moments where when two groups cross paths, there's a kind of a tension of will they attack? Won't they attack? Did I get too close? I was just booking it across the field. I didn't know a guy was there. Now he's pissed at me. Should I kill him or should I just keep running? The guns, especially in the beginning, have very limited ammo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that this guy in the video is walking around with a knife. He wants to save ammo.
Right.
You'll get a shotgun, but it's a single container shotgun. So you have to shoot, then reload, then shoot, then reload. And when you're fighting 5 people, it kind of makes it hard to shoot them all because you have to reload after every shot.
Mm-hmm.
The pistols that you get are initially really weak, but over time, you actually can get an ability to craft new guns. So you can craft better versions of weapons. You find better versions of weapons. And overall, it has that really good, like, I'm scrounging around. I'm a survivalist. I'm crafting. It's like a good survival crafting adventure, but without all the, food. I have to eat stuff. I have to drink stuff because my health will go down if I don't eat in time. It doesn't do any of that, but instead it uses its crafting and its limited resources to just make combat really, really tense and interesting. And that's cool. That's right up my alley. The story is also a really good point because you wake up in this quarantine zone
Mm-hmm.
and you see this like weird reactor with light going up into the sky and a bunch of stormy clouds overhead. You have no idea where you are. You have no idea what happened. You have no idea who you are. But when you leave your initial bunker, this phone booth rings. And when you answer it, there's a voice on it that says, Oberon must die. And that kind of becomes your first lead to investigate, is figuring out what is Oberon. But then very quickly, you'll find someone who's like, oh, yeah, you're hearing voices? I wouldn't tell anyone that because, yeah, people who hear voices go insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, okay. Am I infected with something? Are the voices I'm hearing different than the voices other people are hearing? And so there's overall, the game is split into zones. So there's like 4 big zones, and each of them are pretty distinct. One of them is like a town. Let's see if I can find that here. Secret bunker, interchange. No, but yeah, I can't find a town in this playthrough. But that lends very distinct flavors to each location. And as you go along, as you learn more about the story, you find characters who might be able to help you escape. And I think overall there's 6 different main characters who have like the main quest lines where if you progress those, you can escape from this quarantine zone. But each of them are at odds with each other. And so eventually, what I learned after the fact, I'm very close to beating the game. There are actually 6 different endings. So there isn't just one ending. You can actually take these quest lines all the way through to the end to get 6 different endings, which is nice for a game that really prides itself on that versatility and prides itself on kind of not telling you what to do and letting you choose your own path. To let you choose all that is really good. Yeah, in this case, this guy found a grenade. Those are
Mm-hmm.
very useful, pretty rare because they're really dangerous. Yeah, every gun he has is like a single shot. It looks like he's out of ammo with most guns. He's got a single shot shotgun. Oh, cats are banging at the door.
Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be?
Yep. Come on. Come on. Anyways, so yeah, Atomfall.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's fun to play because that sense of discovery you get over time of just exploring an area, having it be initially really unfamiliar, all the enemies are initially really intimidating, and then slowly becoming more familiar with the land and the weapons and your abilities. It makes for a really nice arc of a game to go from something really familiar to something really intimate. And it's like, oh, I know this place, and I know what's going on in this place, and I can choose what happens to it. And that's a really cool feeling. And the fact that it all emerges pretty organically as you go and play through the game, even better.
Yeah, I would play. Absolutely. No question. In fact,
this one's on Game Pass too. So I
it
think
is.
everyone should give this one a
Nice.
shot.
Oh yeah, if it's on Game Pass, that's a no-brainer. All right, so I will be playing that. Good to know. Did you play anything else?
That's it. Send it to Berserker, Atomfall. Eventually, I want to go back to Kingdom Come, but there's other stuff coming out that will take up my time, and I needed to get away from Kingdom Come because otherwise, that's all I would be playing. And I've talked about that game enough on this podcast.
Yep. All right. So that being said, you ready to hit the news? Because we have a lot of news to cover.
Oh yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Is that a new news thing?
No. That's come on, just stop. All right. Unfortunately, I didn't turn off the loop, and the loop of music is by default. So when I potted it down, it stayed playing in the background. So I will have to start the news the hard way. Let's hit the news. Come on. There we go.
It's all super loud
GameHounds
too.
News, use, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And the first item is...
I mean, that happened this week or the past several weeks? Because we took off like the most consequential weeks of the year. But you know what? I think that was okay because people didn't need another podcast saying tariffs.
Yep. But that's exactly what happened the last 2 weeks was tariffs. Might as well get it. And really, I mean, tariffs are bad across the board for everybody except right now Apple, because it gave a lot of money to the Donald Trump's inauguration, and so they were exempted from all of that.
They were exempted.
Oh, yes.
Because I feel like they were, and then they weren't.
Oh, maybe they were. I have no idea. It literally changes from minute to minute.
No
it's
one does.
Hard to keep track of. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think at this point Donald Trump knows what the tariffs are. But
within all that chaos, a day before that chaos, Nintendo revealed the Switch 2.
Couldn't have picked a worse day to be announcing the Switch 2 and announcing that the pre-orders would begin April 9th. And then instantly saying they were going to delay the Switch pre-orders in the USA because of tariffs, and then not providing a date. And then a few days later saying that, yes, we will do the pre-orders, but we're doing them on, April 24th. Now,
yes, 24th
is the date the pre-orders begin.
And a lot of people were worried that the price would go up. It's already pretty expensive, but they were worried that the price would go up because of tariffs. The price of the Switch 2 did not go up, but the price of the accessories did.
Right. Anywhere from $5 to $10.
I think I saw that now a new set of Joy-Cons will cost you $90.
Yeah.
Which
a new set of Joy-Cons
is crazy, but also like
they were already $85 though.
And the PlayStation controller is like $90 MSRP. It's
Yeah.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah, I think that when the price was announced before the whole tariffs thing, people were not happy, and in fact,
No.
even in Japan, they were not happy, and there is a Japan language locked Nintendo that is cheaper than everywhere else because they don't wanna, piss off the home crowd, and it still pissed off the home crowd. The idea of $450 for a Switch 2 is just huge,
It
especially when you consider that what's like a 30% increase from the price of a Switch 1. And yes, that was many years ago, but even taking into account inflation, our disposable income has not increased by 30% in those years.
so
Also add in that
yeah.
games are now going to cost $90.
Not
It's
okay. Not across the board.
not across the board, but like Mario Kart World is going to be
Mario
90.
Kart World is going to be 90. I think the Zelda is
Zelda
90.
is
The
90, and it's
Pong is
it's
60.
Zelda. Zelda's gonna be 90 if you never bought any of the Zeldas before. Now, if you have
Yes.
bought the Zeldas before, you don't have it. You'll still have to pay money, but not as much. But if you wanted to buy Zelda from the base, when you add in all of the tiers of stuff in order to get the most current version of it, it is going to be $90, which is that's a lot. I mean, it's a great game, but
Yeah,
it's an old game. It's a Switch game,
and
not
I
a
also think
PS2 game.
I saw a bunch of people making jokes that everyone was worried about GTA like breaking the $100 barrier of like bringing the game that breaks the price
Nobody
impact.
expected Zelda.
No one thought Nintendo would be the one to break that. And
Mario
like
Kart World would be the one
here's
to
the
do
thing,
it.
the truth is that that variable pricing scheme
Mhm.
is a good idea. Like, look, you want GTA to be $100? Good. You want Assassin's Creed Shadows to be 70? Okay. Then Kazan can be 60 or 50. Marathon or Helldivers can be 40. That type of variable pricing is a universal good thing.
Agreed.
The problem is that every publisher thinks their game is the
It's a
top tier
$90
game.
game. They
Everyone.
all think they're $90 games, and they're not.
Nope. And so the result is every game is $90.
Right.
When really it's like, no, your game's not $90.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not GTA.
Yeah.
Don't try to be it, but they all think it is. And you know what? It's interesting that Adamfall and Kazan, I think, are both lower end games. I think Kazan was like $50 or $60,
Mhm.
which is already lower than the
I
new standard.
remember Shadowfall. What was the one that Spiders did that I played so much of?
Oh, Fall.
Huh?
Greedfall.
Greedfall, that's what it was. I remember Greedfall was like a $40 game, and I'm like, this is a solid $40 game. This is a good value for $40. If
Yeah.
I'd have paid 60 for it, I'd be a little upset. But for $40, this was a great game. And it was right priced. It wasn't overpriced, it was right priced. Exactly for what it is and exactly for what it should be. And I found it to be a great value for that.
So it's a little
Yeah.
worrying. I don't
Yeah.
know what the industry will take from that.
Well, here's what's another thing that is being suggested is that if they're not going to raise the price, because imports from, I believe that the Switch 2s are going to be imported from Vietnam. Their
Yes.
their tariff is at this point 245%. So we're looking at the Nintendo selling these consoles at a significant loss. And I think that they were holding onto that price because they already knew that they had already kind of pushed the boundaries of how much they could charge. If they went back and said, actually, now it's $600, people would have been, it would have been a riot.
Yes.
So they
because
kept it.
The truth is, like the $430, like that's not crazy. Like in terms of what people expected the price to be, I think that's right.
Well, it's $450.
$450, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's right in the middle of where people expected it to be.
Yeah, but it's still a little, it's just at the edge of being uncomfortable that people aren't exactly happy with it. To
And that's
increase it further would have been a death knell for it.
yes. I'm just saying, like, and I think this gets in the same discussion that the $700 PS Pro got into, where the issue isn't the cost of the machines, because those cost of those machines is kind of appropriate and affordable for what those machines are.
Right.
The problem is that no one has the money because inflation is making everything else more expensive.
Right. Disposable income. When you're
Disposable
talking
income isn't going up. Rent gets more expensive.
when you're talking
Groceries get more
about
expensive.
$90 for a game in many, many households in the United States, that is a week's worth of groceries.
Yeah.
In some cases, that is multiple weeks worth of groceries. This is their food. And you're asking for a game to be that price? It's just, but anyway, I digress.
But like my point of that was that these questions of price have the source of them is a much deeper rooted economical issue. It's not just, oh, publishers are greedy and wanting to milk your money. It's like, oh, Nintendo got greedy, so they're going to price the Switch too higher. It's like, no, when you look at the cost of the parts plus inflation plus
Right.
the fact that it's advanced hardware more than the Switch One
Right.
is.
This is what it costs.
The
This is what
price
it costs to make
makes
them.
sense.
What's
It's
wrong
just
is
that-
we're not making enough money.
Yes.
It's not that it's too expensive. That's how much it costs to make those things. We're not making enough money.
It's that we're too poor.
When the top 1%, sorry, top 10% of earners in the United States right now account for 50% of purchases in this country, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Top 10% of earners are doing 50% of the sales in the country. The problem is the middle class are not getting paid enough. But also, I digress. What the point I was trying to get to is that if there's speculation that if Nintendo is not going to raise the price of the actual console because of the tariffs, which they didn't, the other alternative is they are going to limit the amount of consoles that they're going to sell, because with this uncertainty of whether these tariffs are going to be permanent, how long they're going to last, there is very much the possibility that they will release this game for $450 and then tariffs go away and then they're forced to,
Well, and that's
reduce the price.
That's the grand irony of all of this, is that Nintendo moved a lot of their manufacturing to Vietnam because they knew, well, US and the China, they're always getting into all this shit. So let's get out of China and go to Vietnam, where
because everybody loves Vietnam.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a problem with Vietnam.
And then the tariffs on Vietnam went up 200%.
Possibly go wrong.
And Nintendo's like, mother
fuckers.
But like any effort to move manufacturing to the US, that factory will take 4 years to get built, at which point there will be a new president, at which point the tariffs might or might not exist.
Right, exactly. It's not going to you got to have the infrastructure already here.
Yeah.
It's just not possible for most stuff to be made in the United States. And if it is made in the United States,
it'll be more expensive.
It's going to be so expensive that there's no way. And, you could say that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, is that the reason why people aren't making enough money in this country is because there's not enough jobs. And there's not enough well-paying jobs because there's no manufacturing in this industry. So if you brought manufacturing back, people could afford to pay more. That may be true, except for the fact that, have you seen how much more CEOs make than the working class people, the blue collar people on their lines? Do you think that's going to change? CEOs now make C-suiters, management now make so much more money than the rest of the plebes in the country than they used to. That's a trend, that it's all the money's being sucked up by the C-suite. All the money's being sucked up by the top 10% earners in a company. If you think that's going to change because they're in the United States now, no. Unless you get a lot more unions. And that is what the current administration absolutely does not want. They do not want labor unions. And there's the rub, is that they want slave market labor in the United States.
Yeah.
And that can't happen. So anyway, we're getting into like a little bit more politics than I wanted to, but they were saying that if
But
they're
it's
not
all
gonna raise the
interrelated.
price,
That's the thing.
well,
It's
it is.
all interrelated.
Unfortunately, it used to be we don't talk politics on the show. Now we have to, because politics is now an integral part of this discussion about the next big console. But they're saying that there's speculation that Nintendo will limit the amount of Switches that are going to be available in the country, which will make them even more valuable. And if you don't think that scalpers aren't completely aware of this, when you limit that, you are opening up the floodgates on scalpers. Now,
It'll be interesting to
Nintendo
see
is
what.
is creating. They've actually said that they're addressing the issues of
Okay.
scalpers and pre-orders. Even they said this even before the tariffs were announced, that the pre-orders initially, well, first they said pre-orders are going to be available. Then they say pre-orders in the United States are going to be by invite only. You probably won't be able to just go online and purchase one, even if you're a scalper and you've got a bot that's scraping the whole thing. Now, this is from the UK version of the Nintendo store. The pre-order slots are going to be offered from in the UK it's from the 9th. For us, it's the 24th. But they were offered on that date as invite only, based on with the initial priority being on people that have active Nintendo accounts, that have had them for at least 2 years, and that have played at least 30,000 hours in those. So we're talking about the hardcore Switch One users. So if you haven't put a lot of time into Ace Angler, you might want to do that now.
Which, like, honestly, I really, really like that idea, because if you require the people to sign in with their account, then you can see their account. You can see what games they own. You can see what they've been playing. And
Right.
so you can tell this account was created 2 days ago and has no played games on it. This account was created 9 years ago, has 300 games on it, and just spent the last 12 days playing Call of Duty.
Right.
Let's
So
give it.
there's
can
3
tell.
criteria. There's
Yeah.
3 criteria they use: the Nintendo
like
Switch
that.
Online membership status, and them having opted into the promo emails, the Nintendo promo emails,
Okay. makes
and
sense.
the original Switch playtime stats.
Okay.
You have to have been a member of Nintendo Switch Online for at least 2 years continuously by May 31st, 2025.
Okay.
You have to have an active membership the day you put it onto pre-order. And in cases of family memberships, the person who purchased the membership will be eligible to get the invite for a pre-order. Other people in the family will not. So it cuts it down to 1 per family, which is what it should be. So yeah, I think that this might be an effective way to combat scalpers, but that's for professional scalpers. You don't think that a lot of these people that are downloading and buying these pre-orders of a Switch 2, I mean, I have thousands of hours on PlayStation, and I was thinking that I should sell my PlayStation 5 when it was that expensive. It's like, maybe I should just sell it and then buy it later. I can live without it. So
You're talking about normal people being transformed into scalpers, like
Absolutely.
some horrible
Hey,
zombie
you know what? We
infection.
all know who we are. We just have to find our price. We are all just an extra digit away from being a scalper.
I see someone at Nintendo headquarters like, sir, we had policies in place to prevent scalpers, but
And we just
instead
created a bunch of new scalpers.
we created more of them.
We've made more of them. Yeah. Because I mean, if you're looking at, you're paying $550, but you can sell it for $2,000. I don't know. I mean, the best recent console of this podcast has been Nick's Odin 2. You're right.
Man, that thing
Right.
is so awesome. I love
That's
it.
what
I
makes
was,
you rich,
I was
bud.
playing what was it? NBA Streets, like PS2 era arcade basketball game the other day on it, just when I was on the bike.
Nice.
It's cool. It's cool.
So,
Yeah.
I think that this is a really good idea. It definitely limits the like scraper bots that just buy everything, the entire stock out in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will combat scalping across the board. It might limit it. But then again, those scalpers are very clever.
But like all you can do is limit it. If you can limit it, that's a win.
But it's going to be now the profit incentive is so high if they do what they think that they're going to do, and that's limit the amount of pre-orders that they would normally do for the United States, just because they don't really want to spend that much on tariffs.
Yeah. Well, I know that I've heard that Nintendo has been shipping Switch 2s into the US
Oh,
for
furiously.
months now. So
Furiously.
they have a big stockpile of stuff already here.
There is a warehouse somewhere in the United States, maybe probably multiple warehouses in the United States that are stuffed to the fucking gills with Switch 2s right now. And if I knew where they were, I'm not saying
in like 5 or 10
that
years,
I would, but I'd think about it.
I want to see like a remake of Ocean's 11, but where they target Switch 2s.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing that is happening right now. And
yeah, and I thought, should I try to get one on the 24th? But then as I thought about it more, I realized all the stuff I want to play, I've got on the Odin, I've got on the PlayStation, and truthfully, I'm more interested in whatever the Xbox Razer handheld that's rumored to come out later this year might be. Because now that I've gotten a taste with the Odin, I want a high-end handheld. I want something that I can play Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with you. And I mean, I don't own a Switch. I kind of wanted one for a while when they couldn't get one. And then once I could get one, it's like, I don't really need it now. So I wouldn't ever be allowed to buy one at this point. But even if I were, I don't know that I want to drop $550 on it because yes, it's fantastic. There's a lot of great things going for it, but I don't know that even if I could get it at MSRP, that I'd want to spend $550. Now, in this economy, there is so much uncertainty at this point that I kind of don't know. And there's a lot of people out there who don't know. They may not have a job next month, and it's entering their heads, I might not be employed next month. Well, that they would never have thought of 6 months ago.
Well, to segue into another news item, you might want to buy it sooner rather than later because things are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
Sony just increased the price of the PS5 in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
How much?
I should have gotten a exact number. I don't have. Okay, the PS5 digital edition is $599. €599. No, €499. Which is the same as the physical edition. So I think what happened is basically the digital edition that comes without the disc drive and was originally less expensive than the one with the disc drive. All those consoles have now gone up in price to match what the disc drive version is.
So it's they're price parity between the disc drive and without disc drive, which seems odd. That they
Well, except so
do that?
it's the same in Europe and the UK. In Australia, the disc version has also gone up, and in New Zealand, the disc version has also gone up.
By how much are we talking about?
I can see the versions. Okay, in Europe it's gone up 80. In the UK,
Ooh,
in the in Europe it's gone up 80 euro. In
that's
the
a lot.
UK it's gone up 70 pounds.
That's a lot.
In Australia it's gone up 125 Australian dollars.
That's a lot.
And in New Zealand it's gone up 140 New Zealand
That's a
dollars.
whole lot. I mean, those are about, they all run about between 80 and $100 more.
Yeah.
US conversion.
So, maybe if you're looking to save money, you got to buy the Switch 2 now.
Maybe. I mean, if the tariffs hold, they're going to have to raise the price because they can't not ship in Switches after a certain point.
Maybe?
Time wise, they're going to have to start shipping, and when they do start shipping, they're going to have to make the price. In fact, even their announcement, they said in their announcement, for the time being, at this moment, we are not changing the price. It's still going to be $450. But they said very explicitly that these prices may be adjusted depending on what happens in the global economy.
Yeah.
Depending on economic factors. They had said that they absolutely could change the price. And I think that they're going to sell the ones that they have in the country for $450. And when those run out, then they have to raise the price because they cannot eat a 249%,
And
price
I've seen
tariff.
people speculate about the PS5 price increase is that because the US is such a big market, Sony doesn't want to price the US out, but they're going to spread the price increases amongst the rest of the world to try to offset that.
Right. And that also makes sense. Is that don't stick it to, although it makes it, you should be sticking it to the American customers, but to make it more palatable to American customers, to make the rest of the world pay a little bit more to offset, to kind of subsidize the tariffs, which is going to go off so well in those countries. Oh my God, they must love us there. They must love us in Australia right now, and New Zealand especially. So yeah, it's just all kinds of bad. There's absolutely no good coming from these tariffs, and I'm not quite sure what the end game is.
No one knows what the end game is. There is no end game.
I don't know that you're right. I don't know that there is an end game. I mean, not to get too much into politics, but I do want to point out that, everybody's like, well, he's a businessman. He knows business. It's like, he's a businessman who went bankrupt in the casino industry.
And
that's like going bankrupt in the porn industry. It's really hard. It's almost harder to do that than succeed.
You have to work.
You have to really, really work at going bankrupt in the casino industry. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, some good news.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is getting more expensive because in response to the dumpster fire that is the world economy.
Yeah.
The developers of Everspace 2 has announced that the upcoming DLC for their game is going to be $5 cheaper. It was normally launching at $30. It is now going to launch at $25.
Here's a question. I don't think that digital downloads are affected by tariffs.
Not yet, but
cut that out. Should we get where's the delete button?
I've seen
any ideas.
Was it Garbage Day is a newsletter that's like a really great tech newsletter. Highly recommended for everyone.
Okay.
One of the things he's pointed out is like all these tariffs go on physical goods, but the biggest export of the US is like digital goods and services.
Mm-hmm.
If Europe starts putting tariffs on those,
that
that is like, oh, you want to hurt the US. Build the services. Tax them higher.
Yep.
But okay, where is it? Yes, $5 discount. The upcoming expansion, Wrath of the Ancients, was originally $30. It is now going to be $5 off. And that's a permanent price change. And the previous DLC that was $15 now costs $12. So in an era of Nintendo launching $500 consoles and $90 games and Sony raising the prices, it's just kind of nice to have a developer go, you know what? Everything is more expensive. We're giving you a little bit of a discount. Check it out. Also, I've heard great things about Everspace 2. I bought it on PlayStation, but never got around to playing it. Maybe I should. I'll come back next week, tell you how it is.
So one of the things that has been an issue among a lot of economists is that the fear that AI will start to take over jobs, because AI is now getting so good and almost indistinguishable in some ways from humans, especially in customer support and customer service and those kinds of things that are kind of, like the things that they used to like ship off to offshore call centers like India and Bangladesh. They're just in the Philippines. They're like, we're not even paying them. We're just going to get an AI.
So okay. Wait, let's do this logic chain here. You got a lot of these low-level jobs in the US, and then globalism happened, and we shipped all those jobs overseas, and everyone gets angry about it. Now we've created AI, and all those jobs are going away, but we're going to bring those jobs back to the US, but it's going to be AI doing it, not people.
Right. So those jobs have literally vanished off the face of the earth. Instead of it being transferred somewhere else on the earth, they're just now no longer exist.
Yeah.
But if you're ever concerned about that, let this be your cautionary tale. So do you want to know when, everybody's talking about the Oblivion remaster, Xbox is, and we've all been talking about speculating. They're talking about it.
We haven't gotten into
shadow
that
drop. It's just going to happen. I mean, has it been confirmed? I don't even think it's been officially confirmed.
It is one of the worst kept secrets because things have leaked. And it's like, it's supposed to come out next week, like tomorrow or something? I don't know.
No. Well, here's how we know that. You want to know how we know? Because we're talking it was going to be a shadow drop. It was just going to be like, hey, we're doing this and it's available now. Well, how do we know that it might be tomorrow? Well, a Twitter user with the handle at SirRaven18 says that he messaged the Xbox support account, which is run by a bot. And he asked about whether the game's going to be playable by the cloud. And what did the AI tell him? Yes, it will be available to play on the cloud, and it'll be releasing April 21st, 2025. So
thank you, AI.
AI very helpfully let everyone, apparently, if you really want to know when the drop date is for this, just go to Xbox support and ask the bot. It will happily tell you that it is tomorrow.
Which, okay, I have stuff to
say.
This
is unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed, but like, okay, I feel like this gets into such a bigger issue with Bethesda. Like, why do you not announce this? Oblivion. It was a popular game.
They're trying to suck all the oxygen away from that other mod that's being made. The other fan made
Skyblivion.
The
10-year mod project to bring the world of Oblivion into the Skyrim engine. But like, even discounting all of that, why shadow drop the Oblivion? Why not make it a big deal? Why not talk about it?
Because it's so much more effective to just not talk about it. But they're doing a really good job of that.
I don't think it is. Because
everybody's talking about it.
But they're also talking about like, so when the fuck is it coming out?
Well,
But, like-
everyone knows it's gonna be shadow dropped, so we're all literally like hitting reload, 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 reload,
But
reload on the
this also
pages.
confuses me. Why is it being shadow dropped tomorrow? What is tomorrow? And that's not a rhetorical question. I'm legitimately asking because normally when stuff gets shadow dropped, it's like E3, right? It's a presentation. Hey, this game is
There's a
out
reason.
now. Why fucking April 21st? What is the point of April 21st?
What is going on?
It's why shadow drop it today? What the fuck are you thinking?
Anyone? Anyone have any ideas in
and
the
I don't-
chat room? Why
Yeah.
tomorrow?
I don't have an answer. But yeah, the fact that
It's the day they sober up from 420. Duh. That's AC Ray. Thank you, AC Ray. It's actually so far the only reasonable
sense.
explanation. They'll
But-
still be just a little bit high and thinking, yeah, sure, I'll buy it.
but yeah, you bring up a good point about the Sky Oblivion, which is that Bethesda it feels like they're kind of at war with modders. Because remember when the Fallout show came out? And also, the Fallout show, that's like one of the biggest shows on Amazon. That show was huge.
And it's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's
and,
awesome.
and we're already seeing leaks of some of the sets for the next season.
Mm-hmm. And like when that comes out,
I'm listening.
Bethesda,
I have to step away for a second. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening. Okay.
When that show comes out, as part of being associated with it, Bethesda released an update to Fallout 4, like an HD update. But that HD update broke all of the mods for the game, and it just so happened to come out the week before this really big Fallout 4 mod. Basically like a big expansion to the game made by modders. And they broke the interactivity with that a week before it came out. And now this 10-year mod project for Oblivion is scheduled to release this year. And this is when they shadow drop an Oblivion remaster. It's just the level of like aggressive pettiness from Bethesda.
That's a very good way. Pettiness.
But
the petty is strong in this one.
But it's mean pettiness. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
see what you're doing. You're making our game better. Well, you know what? Fuck you. And
Well, there's the link to the official statement from the Sky Oblivion team.
Yes, and the Sky Oblivion team have said they are going to keep on making the game because like we're incredibly proud. We sincerely hope the information proves accurate. I forget what is it? We're excited by the prospect and sincerely hope this information proves accurate. The glimpses we've seen look fantastic, and we eagerly anticipate the possibility of experiencing a modern, professionally developed return to Cyrodiil. Blah blah blah. Yeah, they say that the Sky Oblivion is a mod, so it will only be available on PC. Therefore, the remaster presents a wonderful opportunity for console players to re-experience it. And so they're very democratic about it.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they promise to keep going is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why not work with them? Why schedule this the same year? And Patrick Klepek on Remap had a really interesting take when he's like, okay, Oblivion came out, it was big, everyone loved it, but then Skyrim came out.
Right.
And Skyrim hit on another level. Skyrim hit on multiple levels above Oblivion.
Oh, yes.
Like it's in its own stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
After Starfield, do you really trust Bethesda to make Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think that game will be great?
No, I do not think that game is going to be great.
Yeah. So
I think it's going to be the best possible that I at this point, lowered expectations is that it's going to be okay. It'll be standard fare. It'll be like, all right, it's just a continuation. I don't think it's going to be mind blowing. I don't think that it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And
yeah,
there's only one company at this point that I trust anymore to do a good job, and that's Rockstar. Talking about major
and
companies.
and I think a lot of people agree with that.
Mhm.
And so he was saying on Remap, well, people don't expect a lot from it. It's also like a decade away. What can we do in the meantime? Well, Oblivion is here, and it was popular. I'll bet less people played it than they played Skyrim. So
yeah.
let's put this out as a way of like, hey, look, Bethesda still got it, right?
We still got it, baby. You remember us?
We
Give me
still
some
got
sugar.
it. We can relive past glories.
Yep.
And he was just, that was the point, that this kind of feels like them reliving past glories has a way to try to spit Starfield out of your mouth. Like, oh, rinse your mouth off after Starfield and
Yeah.
remember Bethesda.
Remember when Todd was good?
Yeah, exactly.
Before
And
Todd
so-
made like out of touch complete stinkers of games.
Yeah. And so like that compared with the war on mods, and it just presents this weird picture of Bethesda as a company that doesn't quite know what it wants to do, that may have lost its creative touch and is aggressively fighting against other modders that might have a greater creative touch than the development team.
Yeah.
It's
Corey Wallace says, just keep cranking out ESO and Fallout 76 and forget everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, those are big games that are actually continuing to be strong.
AC Ray says, who's reliving that glory? Who's left from the time of release at Bethesda? Good point.
One guy.
Todd Howard.
Mhm.
Todd motherfucking Howard. Remember when he used to be untouchable?
Yeah. But for reference, when we say Bethesda, what we really mean is Todd.
Yeah. Todd. Yeah. Yeah, Todd very much is reminding me of like the high school quarterback that now has grown old and fat and not very good, and his knees are all bucked up, and he's a middle manager, and he was like,
But he's
wants to
coaching high school football.
right. He wants to make sure that you all know how great he was in high school. So what he does is he comes back to to his friends and puts on the VHS of that catch that he made, of the amazing job that he did in that one game. Homecoming, 1985. Watch it. I am a god. That is Todd. That's Todd Howard's, did you see that moment? You remember that time that I did that?
Remember when I made Skyrim?
Yeah, that was good.
Todd
Al Bundy Howard. That is perfect. It's Al Bundy. Totally Al Bundy. Yeah, good freaking call on that. All right, my next item is, hey, talking about like things we're not really sure are going to be any good, but everybody's kind of not sure they're going to be good, but let's hold off, but maybe not. So Marathon now has a release date officially. It is due out September 23rd. And
Sooner than I
remember, this
thought.
is the extraction shooter that Bungie is doing, which, is they also released some very interesting, if not odd, gameplay that looks okay.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of speculation out there because I'm not going to lie, it does kind of have that same feel of Concord. And if you need a refresher on that, Concord came out last August and was instantly met with a gigantic meh. And in less than 2 weeks after bombing out of the gate, it was essentially pulled because nobody wanted to play it. It wasn't that it was a bad game. It just wasn't
have an audience. It was a multiplayer game with no players.
Yeah, it was a multiplayer game. There were no players. It sort of didn't take off, and then once it didn't take off, it was kind of dead in the water. And it didn't take off because it wasn't anything new or inspiring or kind of cool.
And importantly, it was launching into a crowded genre place.
Right.
Like you had Overwatch, Marvel Rivals had just come out and was already eating Overwatch's cake. In addition, you had Valorant, and I think there's one other one I'm missing. But like the 5v5 hero shooter genre is filled with games that people are playing.
Mm-hmm. And this was one that didn't have anything that distinguished itself, whereas Marvel did. So yeah, anyway, bottom line is it didn't do well, and it was instantly probably one of if not the biggest bomb ever. And I don't consider like Cyberpunk 2077. That was just a fail. That wasn't just this is just meh bomb. Anyway, there's discussion that, that Marathon might be right in there as well, because isn't like September-ish when they're talking about a bunch of other games coming out, not the least of which being GTA?
Maybe.
So, but there are defenders. Some are calling Marathon Concord 2.0.
Yeah, I have an issue with that.
Yeah, and so do a number of people, including on the Marathon subreddit, a developer named Stephen, or I think it's Stephen Williams. He's a former Concord developer who's currently working as a senior VFX artist on Warframe Studios Digital Extreme, or at Digital Extremes, which is the studio that does Warframes. He's under the name Mr. Spug. He said, quote, "I have been a longtime lurker for many years and rarely post to Reddit or any social media in regards to what was going on with my life as a developer artist. After reading the comments about Marathon being Concord 2.0 on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitch, I just want to share a little insight into what a 40-year-old man is feeling after dedicating a large portion of his life to making video games. He says that it was gut-wrenching to watch Concord fail like it did. But he said, quote, "No one feels as bad as the people who put their time on the line, hoping it will entertain the masses of gamers across the globe. Seeing the faces of developers on the Bungie stream gave me hope and excitement for what's to come from Marathon. I commend them for taking a chance, trying something forward to them that isn't proven nor guaranteed to succeed. It takes a lot of courage. I really didn't want to be that dev calling attention to myself as if I have a horse in this fight. It's a dog in this fight or a horse in this race, but it's a nice mixed metaphor. But to call this game a failure before it's even out is wild to me." Eddie does have a point. He's saying that like he was on Concord. He knew what it was like to be on Concord. And what he's seeing from Bungie developers does not look like a bunch of developers who are knowing that they're releasing a bland, uninspired shooter.
The problem with that too is that it's easy to hate on something, and like the way the internet has been structured now is no one wants to be wrong. And so no one wants to back a horse and then have that horse fail,
Right.
because that opens you up to mocking. But
Absolutely.
if you hated on something and it turned out to be a success, like, oh, no one talks about that.
Right.
And so
the "I told you so" doesn't sting quite as much.
Yeah.
And if you hate on it and you're right versus "I love it" and I think it's going to be great and you're wrong.
Yeah, and so there's just this cultural leaning towards the negative. Our entire culture leans towards pessimism and cynicism about new projects, which is why, like,
new projects don't get done.
No, new projects don't get done, and when they do get done, they're like Marathon, which is a reboot of an existing IP, because no one buys new IP anymore.
Right.
Because no one wants to take that risk, because when they do, you have a bunch of, idiots on Twitter going, "Yeah, no, it's going to suck. It's going to be Concord." And and from an investor standpoint, though, I think this hits on a very interesting turn where if you're an investor, why would you ever try to invest in a multiplayer game when you see the big new Sony release immediately getting dismissed as, "Oh, it's the next Concord"?
Right.
Like if you heard that and then you went into a pitch meeting and someone was like, "So I'm gonna pitch you this new multiplayer video game," you're gonna be like, "Hell no," because people are just gonna go, "Oh yeah, it looks like Concord," and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe Concord really will lead to like less of these types of games being
And here's the
made.
thing, I feel like Concord, because of the pessimism and the cynicism about it, has so much more steeper climb. Like if it weren't for that pessimism, it might be a good game, but because it has to overcome,
Yeah.
that deficit that it's starting with of opinion being like, it's not going to be very good, is it? They have to overcome that and then exceed it. So it's almost like it has to be better than it needs to be
Yeah.
in order to just get to, even.
And that's like
It's a bit
another
like being a woman in the workplace. We have to be better than everybody because we start from so far below zero that in order to we have to overachieve to get above zero.
Yeah, and that's another larger issue with like media in today's culture is that it's either the best thing or it's the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no middle ground for something that was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." It's like, no, it's either game of the year or yeah, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for anything to launch into this. And I do think it's also not an accurate statement because, like I said, there are very big differences. This is coming from Bungie, which has a reputation and like a history of very good feeling first person shooters, of shooters where when you pick it up, you just like the way that it plays. So that's good. The extraction shooter genre is not as saturated as the 5v5 hero shooter. You have Escape from Tarkov that a bunch of the hardcore sickos play on PC. But other than that,
Chaos being one of our favorite hardcore sickos.
I say hardcore sickos lovingly.
Yes.
When I talk about Souls-like games, I'm a hardcore sicko. I'm an absolute sicko. But like you have that sicko game, but that's kind of it. There's not a whole lot of other extraction shooters on the market.
Right.
So it feels like there's room for a more mainstream version of Escape from Tarkov because it just doesn't exist now.
Right.
So like already the comparisons to Concord, they're
not fair.
They're steeped in ignorance of the specifics of why Concord failed and also the cynicism, and it's stupid. It is a shorthand stupid complaint.
Right. But it's got traction and
because people are stupid.
It's got that right, but it's got that moniker Conquer 2.0.
No one remembers Helldivers. Everyone thought Helldivers would flop.
I know. Everybody thought Helldivers was going to be Concord 2.0.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be one of the best games of the year.
Everyone remembers Concord. No one remembers Helldivers.
Mm-hmm. It could be Helldivers 2.0. Who knows? Anyway, so that was my item. Next.
My next one. We'll just go all the nice short one. Death Stranding 2 will have a new feature that will let you skip some boss fights, but then read about it later. So it's not just.
Oh, I love that. I hate to say it. I know.
Oh, I like this.
I know somebody up there,
cool.
somebody watching this went, "You suck, stupid girl. Why would you want to do that? What's wrong with you? You're not a real gamer." But I kind of love that idea. And
so,
somebody's actually got a life. It's kind of nice.
And so other games have allowed you to do this, right? Other games have given you, skip over this difficult part. But where I think this gets the Kojima touch is that it's not just that it skips the boss fight. It's that you then get a chance to read a description of the boss fight along with images like a visual novel. So you instead get like this other medium, this like novelization version of the fight instead of playing it.
I'm totally good with that. I don't need to fight every single boss all the time. Sometimes I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Just, if it gets to be too much. By the way, how is sweet corn soda?
Shit.
Oh, really? What's it taste like?
It tastes like sweet corn.
It does taste like
it actually tastes like sweet corn. Ugh.
Awful. But you're drinking
It's
it.
too sweet. Well, because I'm thirsty.
You got to do what you got to do. All right. My next item is actually you do your next item, and then I will end the show on my final item.
Okay. So Star Wars Celebration is going on now. There's been a whole bunch of Star Wars news
May the
coming
5th
out.
is coming out. I'm sorry, May the 4th is coming out.
Oh, that's right. Why was
May the
Star
4th
Wars
be with you.
Why was Star Wars Celebration this week and not that week?
I don't know.
Anyways, has part of that a new game that had been, again, like the Oblivion remake, leaked to hell before it was officially announced. Star Wars Zero Company was announced, and this is a turn-based. I know didn't get a trailer of this up, but
You go ahead. I'll find the trailer. You go.
Okay.
You go. I gotcha.
It's a turn-based, basically XCOM. And when you look at screenshots and you look at the video, it really is just XCOM Star Wars, which I'm okay with. I think that's really cool. But it makes it Coy Wallace says Revenge of the Fifth. That's really good. May the fourth be with you
and then Revenge of the Fifth. Well done, sir. I'm sure
I
somebody
like
else has
that.
already still taken it before, but we'll act like it's yours.
It's first time I've seen it. It's new to
Yeah.
me. Yeah. So what I think is most interesting about this game is that it is kind of uncommercial. You know, turn-based games they're not the biggest sellers. XCOM was really popular, but even XCOM, I think, failed to sell what Take-Two really wanted it to.
Right.
The other game, Marvel's Midnight Suns, was a fantastic game.
You loved that game.
Loved it. And like the studio got shut down after they made it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested that Star Wars, that LucasArts decided to go with this. And I don't know exactly who is developing it. Oh, Respawn. Respawn is developing it.
Okay.
Of all people, EA is Respawn. But I'm glad they are. And I was initially going to say that this feels like the result of LucasArts taking the Star Wars license away from EA and allowing more developers to make weirder games. But then this is coming.
LucasArts, it's really Disney.
But then this is coming from EA, so
Mhm.
that whole argument goes out the window. I have no idea. But yeah, Respawn, known for first-person shooters, making a turn-based strategy game. Interesting change of pace for them.
It is, and I kind of like that.
I do. I also think this is it's a funny trailer because it's look at all these people suiting up. We're gonna get the job done. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna land and we're gonna run out into the fight and get behind cover and wait for the pop out, take one shot, get behind cover again. And it's just the cinematic trailer doesn't really match with the gameplay.
No, it doesn't at all.
And you'll see it like right now as it gets into the actual gameplay.
Yeah, there's
like,
the actual gameplay.
Okay, yep. Get behind some cover. We're gonna push a dude. I took one shot. Hey,
I'm gonna throw a grenade, and that's the end of my turn.
Yep.
So yeah, that was announced, and yeah, I think you loved XCOM, so.
Oh yeah, XCOM was great. And they did get out some details that it's going to have a cast of dedicated characters. It's not like XCOM where all the characters are kind of procedurally generated.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like Marvel's Midnight Suns, where you have a cast of specific characters, and in between each battle, you'll get to go back to them, talk with them about what happened, and basically, Mass Effect style, get to know these characters. And that's cool. That's a nice added bonus to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right. Also, they said that as you get to know some of the characters, you'll unlock new abilities for them in that Fire Emblem kind of way.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love that. Yeah, we might actually end up playing, especially if there's multiplayer on this. We might end up playing together, especially if it's cooperative multiplayer.
Yeah,
I would love that. All right, so we'll end the show on something that I think will have Corey Wallace excited, have a lot of people excited. So you know that the 10th anniversary of Elder Scrolls Online is this year. And Bethesda is offering a commemorative keepsake item for sale that I think is probably one of the best commemoratives I have ever seen. So ESO, for the low price of $110 in honor of the 10th anniversary, is going to be selling a piece, essentially a stick of RAM from the original server from Elder Scrolls Online. So you can buy it here. Here it is. It comes with the plaque and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, it is. Let me get all the details here. Stop. It's all the way here. Come on. Okay. They're created for players who wish to have, quote, something truly meaningful to commemorate over a decade of adventure with friends. Letting them in it actual physical piece of the Elder Scrolls Online history. So that is a disused stick of RAM that is removed from one of the Elder Scroll Online server racks. And of course it is, with the plaque and everything else. And there's only 2,000 of these being made. And they're available, obviously, for pre-order that are still available. And I'm very tempted because this is kind of cool. It just tickles that, bit of history. Like you will be placing on your wall a little bit of Bethesda and Elder Scrolls history that can never be duplicated elsewhere. That is part of the game.
It reminds me of those, like I'm going to sell a cell from the film reel of a movie.
Right. Or like when they tore down
our
when they were redoing my high school back many, many years ago, and they tore down the gym. What my father did is he got a bunch of the floorboards of the wooden floor from the gym, which was like the basketball gym and where volleyball was done, and had been there for something like 60 years. And he cut them up into little, like 6-inch cubes and put them on a plaque and sold them to all of the people who'd ever been at Alhambra High School and donated the money to the school for their athletics.
Nice.
And sold them for cheap. It was like $10 and sold hundreds of them because for 60 or 70 years that gym had been around and those floorboards had been in that gym. Yet a lot of athletes who had played, a lot of basketball players, a lot of volleyball players, a lot of people just at the school, a lot of cheerleaders who had been on that floor, and there was good memories there, and especially the basketball players, and they wanted a piece of it. So this feels a little bit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. You can go to it. You can look it up. The link to it, I'm sure AC Wraith has already put it in there. There we go. The anniversary keepsake server. That is it right there. If you want to pick up one for yourself, your own little stick of history, feel free. And I just think that was such, I've been down on Bethesda quite a bit lately, just for obvious reasons. But I got to say, that's a good call. That was a good idea.
That's good. I mean, it does seem like ESO and Fallout 76 are like the only popular things that are ongoing from them. Yeah. Even though Fallout 76 got a rough launch, both those MMOs are still going strong somehow.
ESO and ESO was not that great in MMO when it came out, but that's what you call commitment to the project. Is that they were willing to go back. If ESO had come out now, it would have been shut down in 2 weeks because it was so flawed from when it originally launched. And they just kept iterating and iterating and iterating. So now you look at ESO, it's a completely different game than what it was at launch.
I remember
But they were
playing it.
committed to it. They gave it the amount of time that it needed and the amount of money and work that it needed to create a really good MMO.
Yeah.
And you're very rarely are you going to have like World of Warcraft, where you launch it and it's perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to have and in this case, I thought Elder Scrolls Online was done, but they just kept at it and kept fixing it and kept tweaking it and making adjustments. And the next thing you know, you actually have a really, really good MMO that every time I go back to it, I end up reminding myself how much fun it is.
Yeah. I remember when I played it being surprised at how good of a single player game it was. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, this is Skyrim 2.
Right.
This is like
This is
Skyrim,
Skyrim.
but it just has all these different locations in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that was cool.
All right.
What is that?
Oh, a new case for my iPhone.
Oh, okay.
When I went to Utah, so I was going to pay for the rental car, and I went up to the counter and I realized that the last time I'd had my wallet was in Chris's car because we were going to Airfield and I needed my ID with me.
Hey, oh. Hang on.
Oh, we have a cat thing going.
Oh, yep. Oh, Jupiter.
Joopy.
He puked up a little bit.
Oh, well, it's a hairball. That's what cats do, dude. They're little puke machines. But anyway, so
Yes,
Airfield is a local cannabis shop, so you have to have ID to get in. And I got my wallet out of my backpack, which I use as my purse, and then I had it, and I put it in the footwell of his car. And when I walked up to the rental car counter, I realized, fudge. I left my ID in Chris's car. So I did not have a driver's license. So he had to drive the entire time. And there was discussion that you should just have a case that actually has a wallet in it. And I got one, and this is really great, except that it's supposed to be able to MagSafe charge, and the MagSafe isn't working. Chris got one from a different company that I found to be he's going to show it to you, much higher quality. And this is his. That allows you. This is magnetic, so you can actually stick it. We've tried it. We sticked it on the refrigerator, and it works. So you can actually separate it from this. So, yeah.
I have found.
I bought one of his.
I need a case with the little finger holders, the little pop socket.
I did have a pop socket on my old case, and the downside of it is that when you put it on there, then you can't use anything MagSafe because it just blocks it.
True. Yeah. But I
instantly had to get rid of it.
I need the little pop socket. I can't.
I do too. I absolutely need them, but I can't use them because all of my charging is done through MagSafe, either through the Tesla,
okay.
Or I bought online this fantastic little all-in-one charger that charges your phone and your watch. Okay, in case you've never seen. Hold on. Let's not get me killed, because he could actually do damage. You call that a cat? This is a cat.
Damn, that's a lion.
He is an absolute. I mean, you could say he is an absolute massive cat. And
he's also such a chill boy.
He's an incredibly chill cat.
That's good.
Until he's not, and then he becomes very dangerous. We watch him very carefully. We watch the tail on the constant. We want to make sure.
I hope his claws are trimmed.
Oh no!
What?
No.
You can trim the claws. That's okay.
Can do some real damage.
Oh, you got to trim those.
Oh no! Nope. He's lucky that he gets brushed. But what was I saying? So I have this charger that is a MagSafe charger that charges your phone, your Apple Watch, and your earbuds. All MagSafe. It's all in one spike. So I just go boom, boom, boom at night. It's all sitting right there. And if I roll over in the middle of the night, if I wave my hand in front of my watch turns on, and I can actually see what time it is. So it's one of the best things I have purchased in the last, I would say, 5 years of like, how did I live without it? So the MagSafe not working on this is an issue. So
Yeah,
good to know what-
AC said, I'm planning on spending some of my jury money on a goose home so I can have my phone suspended above me in bed. That's not a
really,
bad idea.
really suspending your phone over your bed? That is,
Yeah, it's in one of those arms, like a
Oh,
microphone arm.
oh, that's an engineer Kev level of lazy. So anyway, this is my
but-
new place.
Okay, I did see one story. I have one story left.
One
and it
story
is
left, and that's it.
It is a good news story. Baldur's Gate 3 gets
Mhm.
its final patch 8. This is the last patch that Larian is doing, last support. And so, oh my God, Shepard. With it comes crossplay, complete co-op crossplay across all platforms.
Which they were promising from the beginning.
And it's in there now. And 12 new subclasses,
Whoa.
including we might have to go back to our Baldur's Gate run because there's a Way of the Drunken Master Monk.
There's a Way of the Drunken Master Monk. Oh, we're going back. We are going back.
I might have to get my lizard guy wasted. And
your naked lizard guy? Yeah,
my naked lizard guy.
Your naked lizard guy needs to be drunk. That's the only way to perfect him in all of its red dangly glory. Oh, I can't believe that they waited for this to be they waited for true crossplay to happen as the final
I think
final
that
update.
it probably just took a while to get it to work.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's also a photo mode.
Okay.
Photo mode modding. But yeah, the big deal is a bunch of mod kit stuff, the 12 new subclasses, and the crossplay.
Nice.
So a lot of big improvements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like it. And yeah, we definitely have to go back to this. We definitely gotta go back. We've got to go back. We've got to find.
I've still got to beat it. I've still got to beat it.
I'm still gonna beat the original game myself.
Oh,
I'm like literally in the last 20 minutes of the game, and I ended up walking away. So now I don't even remember how to play the game. So I'm gonna have to go back and play it quite a bit so that I can go back and play my actual game. I suck. You can say it. I suck.
Nah, I do that with things.
Nice. All right. So on that note, sir, can we close this out? It's been 2.5 hours.
Yes.
All right.
I have a cat demanding attention.
You have a very demanding cat who's demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what that very demanding cat does. All right. Well then, let's close this out. You've been listening
loud.
Sorry, you've been listening to GameHounds episode 778. We did record this on Sunday, 4/20/2025, dude. And it's also Easter. Happy Easter to all of you out there. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record the show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. On Facebook, we are the GameHounds. Facebook.com/GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids. VIDS is all one word, as in videos. And also on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. We would love to have you join us if you want to join us live. But if you can't, we do have the show as an audio podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere that you see a podcast, that's where we are. You can find us under GameHounds Podcast. And if you are listening any of those places, whether it be live, after the fact, no matter where you watch it, no matter where you listen to it, please give it a thumbs up, a high sign, leave a comment, because it very, very, very much makes a difference. So any help that you can shoot our way, we would appreciate it. And also as a reminder, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you do get one free subscription, meaning that Amazon pays for it, not you. If you haven't used yours, we would love to have you shoot it our way, because we would love to take Jeff Bezos' money to help us offset the cost of all of the subscriptions across my screen that are required in order for me to be able to bring you this show, and also Nick. And if you don't want to do that, cool. You can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/GameHounds. That is where you can find us and become a member. We don't make a big deal out of this. It's $1 a month. It's all we ask, 25 cents a show, more or less, to help us, like I said, offset the cost of the subscriptions that all of this costs, because a lot of them aren't free. In fact, none of them are free. So, Nick, have a great week. We will talk to you later. And again, get on our Discord to find out if we are going to be live next week. We may not. May not.
Yeah,
Don't
may not
know.
have a show. If there's
May not
not a
have a
show, I'll do a VR stream.
Right.
I'll do
We'll
something
all know
else some
then.
other time anyways.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. Happy Easter. Take care. We'll talk to you next week. Maybe. All right. We are out. Nick, have a great week. Everybody in the chat, have a great week. AC Wraith, I didn't thank you during the show, during the actual podcasty part of the show, but you know, you are the wind beneath our wings. If it wasn't for you being our link bitch, this would be a much more difficult show. You actually make it better. So thank you so much. And again, don't forget, if you want to buy that piece of server from Bethesda, I would imagine it's going to sell out rather quickly. So go do it now. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.